On First at 9 this Wednesday, the 24th of December 2025. Early warning. 68% of land in Badulla district is at risk of landslides. National Building Research Organization warns. Destructive whirlwind. Cyclone Ditwah destructs jobs and incomes for 374,000 workers in Sri Lanka, says the International Labour Organization, calling for targeted MSME support and stronger social protection. Renegotiate. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa urges the government to engage with the IMF to revise agreements and ease conditions after Ditwah. Christmas Eve. Christmas dawns in just 3 hours. Police assure security at Churches Island void.
Kalin baby so rupial 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
This is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9, brought to you by Derana News Channel, Sri Lanka's most trusted news source. I'm Devindi Nanayakara, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story. The dawn of Christmas, marking the birth of Jesus Christ and his powerful message of peace, is just 3 hours away. Christmas has already arrived for several countries, including Australia and New Zealand, marking the beginning of this year's festive season. Sri Lanka too is eagerly awaiting dawn of Christmas, with streets of Colombo transforming into a festive mood. As devotees across the island prepare to attend midnight Christmas Mass, police say the security of all churches has been ensured. As 2025 draws to a close, with a blend of triumphs and challenges, the world is preparing for an unforgettable Christmas celebration. After 2 long years of uncertainty, the holy city of Bethlehem, where Jesus Christ was born, will once again embrace the joy and peace of the season. This marks the first Christmas celebration in Bethlehem since 2023, following the devastation caused by the Gaza conflict. In Rome, the grandeur of Christmas will be felt at St. Peter's Basilica, where at the stroke of midnight, the first major Christmas Mass will be held since the enthronement Adding to the excitement, Santa Claus has already begun his annual world tour from his home in Rovaniemi, Finland, ready to spread joy across the globe. Though many are just beginning their holiday celebrations, Christmas has already dawned in countries like New Zealand and Australia, marking the start of festivities that will soon sweep the globe. In Sri Lanka, the Christmas spirit is in full swing, with locals preparing for a grand celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. The bustling Peta area in Colombo has become a hub for Christmas shoppers who flock to the streets to purchase everything from sparkling decorations to festive essentials. The Sri Lanka Transport Board has rolled out special bus services running until December 27th. Additionally, the Railway Department has introduced 2 special Christmas trains, one from Maradana to Mathura and another from Colombo to Kankasanture, to accommodate the holiday rush. Crowds are gathering at the Colombo Fort railway station, eager to board the trains and reunite with loved ones. To manage the holiday traffic, the police headquarters has implemented a special traffic plan in Colombo and around Goldface Green, ensuring smoother travel throughout the city. Colombo streets have been transformed into a winter wonderland, with stunning Christmas decorations adding to the festive atmosphere. Even the Bandaranaike International Airport is adorned with cheerful decorations. Sri Lanka's main Christmas Mass, presided over by Archbishop of Colombo His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, will commence at 11:30 p.m. this evening at St. Mary's Church in Uswataka, Java. Meanwhile, Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo, His Eminence Bishop J.D. Anthony will lead a Christmas service at St. Anthony's Shrine in Kochikade from 11:50 p.m. The service will be broadcast live on TV Derana, allowing viewers across the country to join in the celebration.
The 30% discount on Apico Farm and Spring mattresses available at Apico Supercenter and Apico Daily.
The National Building Research Organisation warns that 68% of the land in the Badulla district is at risk of landslides. Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture K.D. Lalkantha states that the government's compensation program is facing challenges in ensuring that allowances reach the actual victims of the disaster.
Several fences installed to prevent wild elephants from entering villages have been damaged by Cyclone Ditwah.
දිලි වැටවල් 148කට විතර ඩැමේජ් එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. මිලියන 148කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක ඩැමේජ් එකක්.
Meanwhile, UNICEF representatives handed over to the Prime Minister a plan to restore Sri Lanka's education sector in the wake of the disaster. Prime Minister meanwhile visited several schools in the Badulla district damaged by the cyclone. In this context, the National Building Research Organisation reports that 68% of the land in the Badulla district is at risk of landslides.
There were 368 major landslides. We have identified over 650 housing units that face severe risk. According to our calculations, approximately 68% of the land in Badulla is facing some level of landslide risk.
Meanwhile, the army has begun restoring the damaged safety fence in the Mahagiri Dambe area along the Sri Pada Hatton Road, which was affected by a landslide. Residents reports that unsafe conditions have developed adjacent to Ovilkanda Road in Kobbakadua village in Ankumbura, Kandy. The Eastern Railway line from Colombo to Batticaloa resumed operations today after renovation work was completed. The Yaldevi train from Colombo Fort to Kankasanture also resumed operations this morning following the completion of renovation on the Northern Railway line. In this context, Minister of Agriculture K.D. Lalkantha, speaking at a discussion at the Kandy District Secretariat yesterday, commented on the compensation program for crop damage caused by the disaster.
The provision of the 25,000 rupee allowance is almost coming to an end. When distributing the 50,000 rupee allowance, some issues arise. This is normal, as challenges exist in ensuring the allowance reaches the correct recipients. Sometimes people may think that only they were affected by the disaster while state officials were not. That is not the case. Even state officials were impacted. However, I am not claiming that the compensation program is being executed perfectly.
The International Labour Organization says Cyclone Ditwah has placed more than 16% of Sri Lanka's GDP at risk, with 374,000 workers facing disruptions to jobs and incomes. According to the ILO's preliminary assessment, nearly $48 million in monthly earnings are now under threat.
According to the International Labour Organization's preliminary assessment, around 1.7 million people live in flood and landslide affected areas, with 374,000 workers facing disruptions to jobs and incomes. As a result, nearly $48 million in monthly earnings are now under threat. Agriculture, plantations and fisheries have been among the worst hit sectors. Up to 23% of rice growing areas have been flooded, while tea plantations in the Central Highlands have suffered landslide damage, with output losses estimated at up to 35%. The disaster has also dealt a major blow to businesses, with more than 29,600 micro, small and medium enterprises identified as affected, many losing machinery, inventories and workspaces. In response, the ILO is calling for urgent emergency cash cash assistance, especially for informal, low-income and women workers. It recommends linking cash support to employment-intensive recovery work such as debris removal and infrastructure repair while ensuring decent wages and safe working conditions. The ILO also urges targeted financial support for MSMEs, stronger shock-responsive social protection systems and sector-specific assistance to restore livelihoods and support a resilient recovery.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi expresses confidence that Sri Lanka will rise again following the devastation of Cyclone Ditwah and assures that India will stand alongside Sri Lanka as a trusted partner throughout the nation's rehabilitation efforts. This was conveyed in a letter to President Anura Dissanayake, which was delivered by India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar during his visit to Sri Lanka.
Prime Minister Modi, in his letter, points out that in the wake of Cyclone Ditwah, India, in line with its neighbourhood first policy and first responder commitment, launched Operation Sagar Bandhu to address immediate challenges in Sri Lanka. The Premier notes that under the operation, India provided relief supplies and emergency materials, supported ongoing search and rescue efforts, assisted in medical emergencies, and helped restore critical connectivity and communication networks. Prime Minister Modi announces a comprehensive assistance package to support the rebuilding of lives in Sri Lanka, assuring that India will extend all possible support as a trusted partner and reliable friend as Sri Lanka moves into the next phase of recovery. The Indian Premier expresses confidence that Sri Lanka will rise again, stronger than ever before, and assures that India will always remain by Sri Lanka's side.
Manusat Derana distributed relief supplies and essential items to the people of Meemure village today, becoming the first to reach the area left inaccessible by severe landslides triggered by Cyclone Ditwah. The journey to reach Meemure was extremely difficult as all access roads to the village were completely obstructed by debris from earth slips. However, the Manusat Derana relief mission was able to reach the isolated village after a 2-day journey, bringing dry rations and other essential supplies. Generous contributions received from donors around the island were distributed from among people in need today. The fourth plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China was held in Colombo yesterday. The session was attended by representatives of the Chinese Communist Party as well as Sri Lankan political leaders.
Fourth plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China was held in Colombo yesterday. Among the attendees were Wang Junsheng, Vice President of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, Deputy Speaker Dr. Rizvi Sali, Minister of Transport Bimal Ratnayaka, Opposition Leader Sajith Premadasa, former President Maithripala Sirisena and several other prominent figures.
China today is a global power. In recent times, the growth trajectory of China is indeed remarkable. Today's China, its policy processes, its leadership, its governance provides all of us, especially our country, some important lessons. China has shown how capitalism and social democracy can be combined in a constructive and fruitful manner for the benefit of the country and its people. It is really appealing to all of us to see the global south progressing, making advancements. And it is our sincere belief that cooperation and good relations between China and India, two of the most populous nation states in the international community, would further strengthen the voice of the voiceless in the global south. Ensure that the international political and economic order is changed and transformed in order to ensure that the global south has a positive say, a positive presence in the designing of the international political economic agenda.
China's development as a major country represents one of the most significant national achievements in human history. It has reached an advanced level of overall development, not through colonization, not through military expansions, but through continuous socio-political planning and the profound sacrifices by the people and the leadership of the CPC. China and Sri Lanka are long-standing friends. At all times, Sri Lanka is in need of assistance. China has come forward. Currently also, our country is going through immediate aftershocks of a natural disaster. As always, this time also, China has come forward to help Sri Lankans. We highly appreciate the encouragements and the support of our country and peoples are getting.
30% discount on Apico Farm and Spring Mattresses. Available at Apico Supercenter and Apico Daily.
Moose Phoenix Natal Fiesta. November 13 සිට 16 දක්වා අනුරාධපුර ස්පොට්නික් ක්‍රීඩා පිටියේදී.
වසරකට ළමුන් 22000කගේ පාසල් ගමන මග නවතිනවා.
එවන් දරුවන් නැවත පාසල් යවන්න අභ්‍යාස පොත් පරිත්‍යාග කරන්න. සෑම පොතකටම ඇට්ලස් පොතක් අපෙන්.
Welcome back. Taking you to more local news, a tense standoff unfolded at the Galle Municipal Council today as the budget proposal presented for the second time sparked controversy. Opposition councillors alleged tampering in the initial vote where the budget was passed with a 6-vote majority and conducted a revote, resulting in police being summoned to the council premises.
The budget proposal for the Galle Municipal Council, where the National People's Power and Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana jointly hold power, was initially defeated on December 15 but was presented for a second vote today. Opposition councillors marched to the council in protest. During the vote, 21 councillors voted in favour while 15 opposed, resulting in a majority of 6 votes in favour. The council was subsequently adjourned and the mayor left the chamber. However, tensions flared when opposition members alleged that votes against the budget were wrongfully counted in favour. Subsequently, opposition members detained the municipal council secretary within the chamber while an opposition councillor occupied the mayor's seat and conduct a revote. Police were summoned to control the tense situation. Only 17 opposition councillors were present in the chamber for the second vote after 19 governing party members left the chamber. Galle Mayor Sunil Gamage has reported the incident to the police, calling it an illegal act. A spokesperson for the council stated that the confirmation on whether the budget has been officially passed will be made following legal consultation. Meanwhile, budget proposal for the Paliyagoda Urban Council and Udunura Pradesha Sabha, both governed by the National People's Power, were defeated by narrow margins. The Paliyagoda Urban Council budget was defeated by a single vote, while the Udunura Pradesha Sabha budget was defeated by 2 votes.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa calls on the government to engage with the International Monetary Fund to revise Sri Lanka's agreement with the global lender in view of the economic impact of the recent disaster. He made these remarks during an event at the Hematagama Regional Hospital.
Under the patronage of the opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, Samagi Janabalawege Suhusma initiative donated clinical equipment worth 2.8 million rupees to the Hematagama Regional Hospital.
ඔබතුමා දුන්න ඩොනේෂන් එක අපිට ඉතාල වටිනවා. ජනතාවට මෙන්නීම කරා විශාල ප්‍රමාණයකට සේවාවක් කරන මේ ආයතනය මුලිකරෝහලක් බවට පත් කරන්නට අවශ්‍ය යෝජනාව අපි තුන්දෙනාව සෞඛ්‍ය ප්‍රදේශික සභාවට ගිහිල්ලා අපි යෝජනා කරනවා. මේ වගේ තත්ත්වයක් තුළ රජයට කොන්දක් තියෙන්නට ඕන.
The government should have the strength to ease loan conditions in line with the current situation. Top global economists are calling for Sri Lanka to receive debt relief. They are talking about possible loan reductions. Regardless of who makes these recommendations, it is the government that must take leadership and engage in discussions with the IMF to ease these conditions. It is difficult for the country to move forward under the current terms. To service debt, the country needs rapid economic growth, higher remittances and increased foreign direct investment. Given the recent devastation, there is a significant setback. Therefore, it is unrealistic to say debt servicing will commence from 2028. In such a situation, the government must take action and lead without useless rhetoric.
In keeping with Christmas spirit, the Sarvajana Balaya distributed gifts to the dedicated sanitation workers who work tirelessly to keep Colombo clean. The initiative was carried out today under the patronage of Sarvajana Balaya leader, parliamentarian Dilip Jayavira, and with community participation.
A special event to honour the hard-working teams dedicated to keeping the city of Colombo clean took place this morning at Sarvajana Balaya headquarters.
We wanted to pay our respects to the friends we meet on the streets who make great sacrifices to keep the environment clean and beautiful. That is why Sarvajana Balaya, as a political movement committed to the well-being of all, organised this event today.
As part of the celebration, the sanitation workers were presented with new clothes, dry food and other items, spreading the spirit of Christmas to those who selflessly served the public. The day ended with heartfelt celebrations where the workers rejoiced in the appreciation of their hard work and contributions to the community.
The final rites of veteran actor Satish Chandra Edrisinghe are scheduled to be held tomorrow evening at the Borala Cemetery. Edrisinghe's remains were brought to his residence in Kalaniya this morning following his passing yesterday.
Veteran film, stage and television actor Kalasuri Satish Chandra Edrisinghe passed away yesterday at the age of 84 while receiving treatment at a private hospital. His remains were brought to his residence in Kalaniya this morning where family members, friends and fellow artists paid their final respects.
I was with Satish Chandra Edrisinghe during the shooting of Palingu Manike in Hikkaduwa. I knew him even before that. I acted alongside him in Mihikatage Daruo and Tara Devi. The bond we formed during those productions led him to treat me like his own son. His passing is a great loss to the country. Satish Chandra Edrisinghe was a multi-talented artist who portrayed several lead roles in my productions with perfection. He was a citizen who was far more than merely an actor.
The final rites of the veteran actor will be held tomorrow evening at the Borala Cemetery.
With that, here's a look at more local news across the island in brief.
172 kilograms of crystal methamphetamine and over 21 kilograms of heroin valued at over 2 billion rupees were seized during a special operation by the Sri Lanka Navy in the southern seas. 5 fishermen were arrested along with a fishing vessel used to transport the narcotics. The fishermen who had set sail from the Gangdara area were brought to the Dikkovita Fisheries Harbour this morning. Further investigations are underway. A group of representatives from several civil organisations, including Dr. Chamal Sanjeeva, arrived at the Ministry of Health today to submit a letter urging the halt of the importation of substandard India-manufactured medicines. However, a tense situation arose as a responsible official was not present to accept the letter. Member of Parliament Ramanathan Archuna, who was arrested this morning after surrendering to the Colombo Fort Police, was later released on anticipatory bail. A warrant was issued for the arrest of the MP yesterday by the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court as the parliamentarian failed to appear before the court for the hearing of a case filed against him for alleged obstruction of police duties. The Walasmulla Magistrates Court today ordered Sampath Manamperi to be further detained for a further 90 days. Manamperi is currently detained at the Western Province North Crime Division under a 90-day detention order over allegations of concealing 2 containers of chemical precursors allegedly used in the production of crystal methamphetamine. The court also ordered Sampath Manamperi's brother Pial Manamperi to be further remanded until the 7th of January.
Welcome back. Now in your business news, the central bank says the Western province continued to be Sri Lanka's main economic hub in 2024. According to the central bank's latest provincial gross domestic product data, other provinces have also increased their overall contribution to national output.
Latest provincial gross domestic product data by the central bank shows the Western province accounted for 42.4% of Sri Lanka's nominal GDP, supported by strong performances in the service and industrial sectors. The Northwestern province ranked second, contributing 11.5% to the economy, followed by the central province at 10.7%. The central, eastern, northwestern, Sabaragamuwa and Uva provinces all recorded higher contributions compared to 2023, indicating more geographically balanced growth. Sector-wise, the Northwestern province continued to lead agricultural activity, contributing 20%, with the central and southern provinces following. In industry, the Western province remained dominant with a 47.6% share, while the Northwestern and central provinces were the next key contributors. The Western province also led service activity, accounting for 44.5% of the total, ahead of the central and northwestern provinces.
The Colombo Bulls maintained positive momentum today with price gains in counters such as Melstar Corp, Windforce and Capital Alliance. The benchmark ASPI gained 0.15% to close at 21,959.05, Meanwhile, the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 increased by 0.07% to end the day at 6,015.48. Market turnover was 4.1 billion rupees. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net sellers of floating shares worth 331 million rupees. Up next, we have Mushraf Ibrahim from Capital Alliance in our next segment, Economic Outlook.
In the monetary sector, the weekly average weighted prime lending rate decreased by 3 basis points to 8.78%. Meanwhile, the average weighted core money rate increased marginally to 7.99%. Market liquidity remained in a surplus, though it narrowed to approximately 66 billion rupees. Treasury yields remained broadly stable, while T-bill auctions experienced an oversubscription rate of approximately 1.7 times. The rupee has depreciated 5.5% against the US dollar so far this year. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, the SPI decreased by 1.6% to close at 22,149 points, while the S&P SL20 fell by 0.67% to 6,056 points. The economies showed resilience with a 5.4% growth in the third quarter.
With just few hours remaining to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, let us ensure that we reflect on our humanity, compassion, and the warmth of love, embracing the true significance of Christmas. With that, we leave you with our seasonal segment, A Message of Hope. Thank you and have a good night.
When we celebrate Christmas this time, we know that some of our brothers and sisters in our country are homeless and displaced. It says that we must celebrate this Christmas in a low key. So now we are worried, can't we celebrate Christmas as usual? But actually, this situation is very comfortable for us to celebrate our Christmas, because when Jesus Christ was born into this world, he was homeless and his parents were displaced, and within that environment Jesus was born. Now in our country, many of our brothers and sisters are homeless and displaced. So the same situation now we have in our country. That is why it is like baby Jesus who was born in the manger. And also we know that Jesus Christ himself told us that who is God? God is love. It means whenever you love each and everybody, God is there. When we love others, we must always sacrifice something. This situation is very, very comfortable and convenient for us to celebrate our Christmas in that way, because we must go and help our needy brothers and sisters and share whatever we have with them. When we celebrate Christmas this time, Jesus will be born among us, in us. That is the real Christmas.